All right, let's take a game break here. All right, so we have data from New York. No votes yet, but we do have exit polls. And the exit polls are actually closer than expected. It looks like Mamdani will win. But if you look at the exit polls there, not a blowout. Because if you look at what happened here, and this was not terribly unlikely, this is why I said this could happen. Sliwa seemed to really crash out. Sliwa was just not getting anything at all. And so if you look at Sliwa's numbers 13, 10, 13, 5, 13, 9, he's not cracking 15 anywhere, which is giving Cuomo a decent surge. If these numbers are accurate, that surge will not be near enough to overcome Mamdani, but it's looking like you're going to be in the, 10-point range, 8 to 10 point range, as opposed to like a
Yeah, that's what I would
commanding
have. That's what I would have expected.
20-point blowout.
I was
Yeah.
expecting about 6.
Yeah.
I thought
So,
those final polls were probably about right
yeah.
because they threw everything but the kitchen sink at this guy. Like it's got to
Yes.
have some kind of an impact when you have just relentless every single article from every outlet of every stripe was about how disastrous this was going to be. Whether from the New York Times to the New York Post, it was all the same article.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you look at the exit polling here, the male vote went Mamdani 46 to Cuomo's 37. The female vote 47 Mamdani to 40% for Cuomo. That is women should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. This is
They
why we don't
should.
like women.
Yeah.
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 They say the
This is
podcasters
why
are
we
sexist. Well, this is
actively
why.
yeah, that's why we actively discourage them from watching our show.
Yeah. And like, political participation in general.
Yeah.
Are you white? So the white vote went pretty evenly, 44 to 41. The black votes, which Cuomo dominated the black vote in the primary. Cuomo, did very well with the black vote in the primary. Apparently not so here. 52 Mamdani to 37. The Latino vote went for Mamdani by 9. And the Asian vote, this would, of course, encapsulate.
Bot is going to have a hard time with the spinning the narrative tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I mean, the Asian vote, this would encapsulate, of course, a lot of the Middle Eastern vote, which is not a big surprise. That goes to Mamdani 61-29. And so, I mean, if you look at these numbers here, I mean, if these numbers are accurate, Cuomo's not leading anywhere, which means that if these numbers are accurate, you have a solid win for Mamdani. It's not the 20-point blowout that a lot of people thought it may have been because there was, according to the exit, and it's just to be clear, we don't have votes in yet. Exit polls
Right.
can be wrong from
Right.
time to time.
Yep.
But it does look like if these exit polls are accurate, that there were, and I mentioned this as a possibility in our last show, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to say their Sliwa until the bitter end. And then when they go
Right.
in, they're like, fuck it, he can't win. We'll vote for him.
Right.
Right. That
Right.
was going to happen to an extent. It needed to happen more than it did. And given the fact that these margins have tightened, like if this is what the final result looks like, then we have to give thanks to a great New Yorker and a great American hero, Mr. Curtis Sliwa, because he will have really fucked the Zionists hard inadvertently. I mean, the guy's a total. I mean, foreign policy wise, the guy's an absolute fucking nightmare. I used to pull my hair out listening to him during the Iraq War days. Just a
Right.
total fucking
Well,
bootlicking,
that's what I'm
warmongering douchebag.
saying. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's he's easy to like,
yeah.
but if you get into what he actually believes, you're not going to like him for
No, his
long.
politics are garbage. I mean,
Yeah.
absolute garbage. But he, man, they are going to be pissed at him. They're going to be pissed at him because it looks like
Oh,
Cuomo did come
he's going to
reasonably
be
close.
persona non
Oh yeah,
gratis with those people forever now.
oh yeah, because it does look like if Mamdani blew it out at 50%, then the conversation over Sliwa would be moot because you can't
Right.
get to a guy who's at 50% by definition. He's
Right.
at 50.
Right.
But if Mamdani's hanging out there in the mid 40s and Cuomo's down there in the high 30s, low 40s, and Sliwa's sitting there at 11 or 12 or whatever, yeah, man, they are gonna. I mean, they
Yep.
are gonna have it out for. Holy shit, is that gonna be that man? They are gonna be fucking furious.
A few moments later.
The New York Times has declared Zohran Mamdani the winner of the New York City mayor race. Wow. Wow.
Zionist
Holy
tears,
what?
baby.
Wow.
Zionist tears, baby.
Wow.
Woo!
God
Woo!
damn. Oh. Oh, that feels good. Oh my God.
Human
Wow.
sacrifice, dogs and
Holy
cats living
shit.
together, mass hysteria.
That's what we have to look forward to.
Wow. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. I mean, for all the guys' faults, and now we're gonna have all the time in the world to talk about
To
them.
talk
because-
about, I got a press badge, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we-
be that gets you into City Hall for mayor's press conferences. Now
yeah,
I'm gonna be covering those. I never
Yeah.
used it before
Right.
for that, but I will now.
For all the guys' faults, it is as someone who's spent, almost all my adult life, essentially all my adult life, in and around New York City, as Russ, as a New Yorker. There's just no understating the seismic nature
Overstated.
of the overstating. I'm sorry. There's no overstating the seismic nature of this. The fact that this guy's out there saying Israel can only exist as a state with equal rights, and I'm a self-proclaimed democratic socialist in New York City, home to the Rockefellers and the Carnegie. Like, there's just no overstating how amazing it is that this fucking guy came from relative obscurity. I mean, he was an assemblyman who went viral with a few videos to actually win in the biggest city in the country, a city of 9 million people. I think about 1 in 30 Americans live in fucking New York City, about, more or less. And to go up against Democratic royalty twice and win. And so far, it looks like those exit polls may have been wrong. We don't know yet, but it's looking like he's holding pretty strong, close to 50. Which would make the Sliwa conversation. I mean, Curtis Lee was begging that he gets over 50. Curtis Lee was praying to God that Mamdani crosses 50. Because if Mamdani crosses 50, then there's no heat on Sliwa because it would have been moot, right? Because you can't catch a guy who's at 50. But if he comes in under, oh boy.
In some respects, it's a Rockefeller Republican town, but it wasn't always. You got to remember, this is the same New York City that created rent stabilization and rent control.
Yes.
Now, the post-Rockefeller New York would not have created that, but the post-war New York did. Rent control, they got rid of it pretty quickly. Although it's grandfathered in. If the apartment was rent controlled, it's heritable, but the child has to live there and be able to prove that they live there. But I think it's only like 2,000 units left. And that is much, much stricter than rent stabilization. That's where you get New York apartments. People are paying $250, $300, $500 to live in that have been in the family since the 50s. But rent stabilization, hey, there is no place in the country where tenants have the protections that they have in New York. And that actually puts the lie to a lot of the hysteria that they put out. Well, you're saying New York was a great city. Well, it's had rent stabilization since the 40s or 50s. So how did it get great? If these kinds of programs don't work, clearly it has not held back New York's real estate development. New York's real estate is some of the most valuable real estate on the planet. Everyone wants to invest in New York. Now, if these kinds of socialist policies don't work, then why has New York succeeded according to your own estimation? According to your own estimation, it's everything's great here. Well, why? If it has these kinds of socialist policies that are far more robust, far more extreme than any place else in the country, by far. By far. There's nothing like New York tenant protections anywhere else in the United States, and it has the most valuable real estate. So why is that? If what you're saying about socialist policies is right, why are you praising New York? New York should be a absolute hellhole, shouldn't it?
Right. Of course. All right, folks, let's scroll Let's see. Let's
Yes,
get the Zionist
well,
tears mugs out.
that's part of why I was vamping. I was giving you time. I knew what you were doing.
Yeah. We have a man. Well, I'm just scrolling here. I'm just going blind. We have a major Islam problem in America, says Laurel. The GOP refuses to address it because the entire party is influenced by Qatar. That's right. The entire Republican Party is influenced by Qatar. The Islamic takeover of America is in full swing. You would think Trump's not president anymore? What did Mamdani, is he the president now? I think you guys still got a grip on things. New York City, Virginia, and Minnesota all elected jihadi. Oh, did the guy win in Minnesota?
Oh, so is that tonight?
Maybe it is.
Cold Blue. Was that race tonight in Minnesota with the Ethiopian candidate?
Minnesota is Minneapolis,
Somalian,
Minnesota is ranked choice voting.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we don't have enough information right now.
All right, but he's probably going to win because he didn't have a Cuomo running again. You know, he didn't have the funded. All right, but that makes sense. I don't think Americans understand.
So he probably won too.
I'm assuming that's who she's talking about. Yes. How dangerous and violent our country is going to become. It's very sad to see. Mike Racine, friend of the show. Great meme. We did it, Curtis. Nicely done, Mike Racine. See what else we got here. A lot of Americans allowed to learn the hard way with Takia.
Oh, Greg Foreman, friend of show, Greg Foreman.
Yeah, the Virginia AG race outcome is disturbing. Multiple outlets, I don't know if the Times has called it yet, but multiple outlets have called it for Jay Jones, the wannabe murderer there. So yes, just MAGA just really, really taking a hard one in the ass tonight. Up and down. I mean, all over. It's a blue bath, says Jack Posobiec. That's right. Well, it's a blue balls bath for you, Jack.
He's probably taking based on his tweets, he's probably taking a bubble bath in fuzzy slippers right about now.
Yes. Nick Sorter, breaking. See, this is the good thing about Elon rigging the algorithm for all the MAGA chuds you don't follow.
Because your whole feed is just that. You don't have to look for them.
It's all Zio tears. That's it. Zoran Mamdani has won the New York City mayor race, defeating Andrew Cuomo per decision desk. NYC will now be under the rule of a Ugandan communist. The only hope for the city now is people wake up and vote Republican after Mamdani bankrupts the place. Pray for New York. Well,
I don't think he's considering the tourist incentive possibilities of an Idi Amin statue in Central Park. I think that's going to bring us a lot of tourism.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Link Lauren, who called into our show once a long ways back. Yeah. He's a fucking moron who you shot off at the mouth about SNAP benefits without knowing the first thing he was talking about. What tonight shows is if MAGA isn't interested in a candidate or President Trump isn't on the ballot, turnout is lower for Republicans. Why it's exciting to have a midterm convention in 2026 where POTUS is heavily involved and visible. President Trump is the main event for the party. Yeah, for now, wait till those healthcare premiums go up.
Yeah.
You already saw it. What you're seeing tonight is based on news of what's to come. It's not even based on entirely what's happened yet. You haven't even hit the iceberg.
And this is something these people never really take into account. They never want to reckon with. Trump did not win 2 elections. The Democrats lost 2 elections. They did everything they could possibly do to make their candidates unelectable in both of the elections that he won. They picked Hillary Clinton. Polling showed she would be the most hated Democratic nominee in the history of polling, but they rigged the process for 2 years in advance. And the whole Biden who couldn't form a sentence, but they thought they could get away with it. And I am sure their plan was to hand it off to Kamala once he got reelected. When that blew up, they tried to run Kamala, who couldn't even make it to Iowa. Like, there's not, he had everything perfectly lined up for him in both cases. And hey, in New York, that's why Mamdani is where he is. It was a perfect storm of factors where he's running against one of the most odious pigs in American politics in a city with escalating unaffordability. You combine that with the fact that he's got a lot of political talent, personal charisma, and personal charm, and he's running against the fucking Grim Reaper granny killer over there, and that put him over the top, man. I do not believe if not Cuomo, generic Democrat, had been running against him, I don't think he would have won. I think he because he's so talented, he would have come very close in the primaries, much closer than anyone would have expected. But I don't think he would have won against anyone who wasn't Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, no, I mean that's probably true. Because it was an uphill battle from the beginning. I mean, Cuomo's poll numbers were blowing him out of the water, and he
Sure.
was just the little engine that could. And because Cuomo was so untalented, he was unable to keep his numbers where they were.
Right.
They just kept
Right.
going down.
Right.
And then you hit a tipping point, just in time for the primary, by the way. You hit a tipping point. He wins the primary, and then, they scrambled, and it was obviously not enough. Not enough. Not even close. Not even close. And the way the numbers look like now, yeah, he is hovering that 50% mark with now 83% of the vote.
May I interrupt?
And Racine again. Thank you, my brother. Good.
Yeah. Yes, Gold Blue.
Yes, go ahead.
NBC News is projecting that Jay Jones wins a Democratic pickup for Attorney General of Virginia.
Wow.
He's the one under controversy lately.
Yeah. He was the one who they thought might lose. Yeah, no, everybody's calling that race now. So, it's just utter domination. Utter domination.
A few moments later.
88% of the vote in, Mamdani at 50.3 to Cuomo's 41.2. So really what happens in the final math, it looks like, is you did have quite a bit of the Sliwa vote consolidate into Cuomo. But it also seems like the polls, because there were like two schools of polls here. There were some polls that had Mamdani in the low 40s with Cuomo up in the high 30s, which was kind of tight. And then you had a lot of polls where Mamdani was at 50, Cuomo's at, 32, Slee was at 15. So it seems like those polls were closer to the truth. It seems like Mamdani was around 50 the whole time, and you had consolidation between Sliwa and Cuomo, but it wasn't going to touch Mamdani at 50 because it was never that close to begin with. So that seems to be the story there. Because Sliwa's at 7 points. There were a lot of people who were saying, hey, if Sliwa ducks under 15, Cuomo has a chance. Cuomo would have had a chance if Sliwa ducked under 15 and Mamdani were where like the Atlas Intel poll had him, which was 43, 44. But with Mamdani sitting at 50, that consolidation is moot. You can't beat 50 in a two-way. You can't beat 50. Once you get 50, you win because that's the majority. So it doesn't matter what else happens.
They're still going to blame Sliwa. They got to blame. They got to blame somebody. They got to scapegoat somebody.
Please clap.